You know those moments in life that you simply cannot explain with logic? Moments where something small, almost trivial, suddenly hits your chest like a wave you never saw coming? For millions of armies around the world, that moment happened on an ordinary day, in front of an ordinary screen, when a short video from Netflix appeared without much warning. And inside that video, there was Jimin, ParkJimin, standing against a black backdrop, wearing a black leather jacket, his hair blonde like a ray of light, and in his hands, a red prop shaped like an X with just 2 words written on it. Trailer tomorrow. 2 words. Just 2 words. And the world was never the same again. Before we go deeper, I want you to truly imagine the context. Not as a fan who already knows everything, but as an ordinary human being who just got through 2 years of heavy, relentless waiting. 2 years without the complete BTS. 2 years where you woke up every single morning with a small flicker of hope that maybe today would be the day they would all come back. Together, whole like before. And for 2 years, that hope sometimes felt like a dimming light, almost extinguished, but you kept it alive with both hands because you didn't know any other way to survive. That is what ARMY felt. Not dramatic, not exaggerated. That is love. Love that grew over years. Love that became part of the identity of millions of people across every corner of this earth. And then Jimin appeared, holding that red prop. The reactions were immediate and overwhelming. Some people screamed. Some froze in silence for several seconds before the tears came. Some replayed the video over and over just to make sure their eyes weren't lying to them. Some called their best friends while completely unable to speak because their throats were too tight. Some posted on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, hands shaking, hearts full. And all of that happened because of one frame, one brief moment where Jimin stood with a small smile, holding something simple, but with a meaning that was anything but simple. Why was that moment so powerful? Why wasn't it just another teaser that scrolled past your timeline and disappeared? The answer lives somewhere deeper than fandom, deeper than concerts or albums. The answer lives in the relationship that has been built over years between Jimin and the people who love him. A relationship that can never be fully explained to someone on the outside, but is felt as something completely real by millions of souls who have ever found something precious in a man named ParkJimin. Jimin is not just an idol. He is not just a gifted singer or a world-class dancer, though he is clearly both of those things and so much more. Jimin is a symbol of something deeply human, the struggle to become yourself, the courage to be vulnerable in front of the world, and the resilience to keep standing even when the world is not kind to you. He is someone who once admitted he almost gave up, but chose to stay. And that choice, the choice to still be here, is why millions of people feel that Jimin is not just an artist they admire, but someone who was there with them in their darkest moments. So when he appeared in that video, holding the red prop that said trailer tomorrow, it was not just a concert announcement. It was a signal. It was an answer to the quiet prayers whispered every night by people who missed him. It was confirmation that the waiting was not in vain, that he was back, that they were back, that everything was going to be okay. Let's talk about the video itself. Netflix released this teaser as part of the promotional campaign for BTS The Comeback Live. Arirang, a global live streaming concert scheduled for March 21st, 2026, broadcasting live from Gwanghwamun Square in Seoul to more than 190 countries around the world. This is not an ordinary concert. This is the first time Netflix has ever live streamed a single artist concert on a global scale this massive. And BTS, of course BTS, is the first artist in history to receive that honor. In the teaser, all 7 members of BTS are present. RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, all standing in the same frame, each holding a red prop with different words. Some say BTS, some say March 21st, some say trailer tomorrow. They laugh, they pose, they play together. There is a moment where they all dance together with an energy that feels so fresh, so alive, so Jimin. In the background, Dynamite plays softly, and if you have ever understood what that song means to BTS and ARMY, you already know that choice of song was not an accident. But among all 7 members, there is something about Jimin's frame that feels different. Not because he outshines the others. Every member carries their own magnetism. Every member has moments that steal the spotlight. But there is something in Jimin's expression as he holds that red prop that you simply cannot ignore. There is a small smile at the corner of his lips, Not a full camera smile, but the kind of smile that looks like he is holding something he desperately wants to say, but chooses to let the moment speak for itself. And that smile, that small, half-hidden smile, is the most quietly devastating weapon he has ever used without even realizing it. If you look more carefully, there is something in his eyes that is different from any Jimin you have seen before. His eyes are still the same, expressive, full of depth, shining with quiet intensity. But there is a new layer in them, like someone who has been through something heavy and come out the other side carrying something more valuable. Maturity, stillness, and a gratitude that does not need to be spoken aloud because it already radiates from the way he stands, the way he holds that prop, the way he looks into the camera as if he is speaking directly into your chest. And that is not an overinterpretation. That is what millions of people felt simultaneously, in different parts of the world, in different languages and different cultures. Jimin's power has always been there, in his ability to make you feel seen, even when he himself is standing in front of millions of eyes. Now let's talk about the bigger context. Jimin completed his mandatory military service in mid-2025. 2 years, during which he lived a life radically different from glittering stages and camera lights. 2 years in which he, like the other members, discovered another side of himself. And for someone like Jimin, whose entire life since his teenage years has been filled with training, stages, music, and cameras, those 2 years must have created a space for reflection that went incredibly deep. When someone who has been gone for a long time finally comes back carrying something new, not in the form of things, but in the form of energy, stillness, and a fullness of self, you feel it. And that is exactly what happened when Jimin appeared in the Netflix teaser. He did not come back as the exact same Jimin who left. He came back as a fuller version, more mature, more at peace with himself. And that presence, quiet but powerful, is what the people who love him had been missing the most. We also cannot ignore the context of the Ararang album, releasing on March 20th, 2026, one day before the Netflix concert. This album is being described as the most ambitious project BTS has ever created. 14 tracks exploring identity, Korean cultural roots, and the long journey of 7 young men who have fundamentally changed the face of global music. And Jimin, as he has always done, was reportedly deeply involved in the creative process of his album, including co-writing lyrics on some of its most emotionally resonant tracks. That is not a coincidence. That is a reflection of who Jimin is as an artist. Someone who has never been satisfied with simply executing someone else's vision, but always wants to pour himself into every piece of work he touches. With Ararang, he does that again, with a depth and intensity greater than anything before. Then there is the red light, green light game that appears in the teaser. A lighthearted moment, full of laughter, where all the members play like children with nothing to carry. And there is Jimin, laughing openly, moving with ease, giving us a small preview of the energy we are about to witness on the Gwanghwamun Square stage on March 21st. That moment matters not because it is dramatic, but precisely because it is not, because it shows the most honest side of Jimin, a person who is happy. A person who is genuinely, deeply happy when he is standing next to the 6 people who have been his family for more than a decade. That happiness is contagious. That is why the red light, green light moment in the teaser became one of the most replayed clips among the ARMY. Not because something spectacular happens, but because watching Jimin laugh freely, playing without weight, is a gift that has been a long time coming. Now let's come back to the red prop. The X-shaped red prop that says trailer tomorrow. Literally, it is a promotional tool. An object made by the Netflix creative team for a teaser video. There is nothing magical about the object itself. But in Jimin's hands, with that small smile, with eyes full of stories, a simple prop transforms into something far greater than itself. It becomes a symbol of a promise that will be kept, a symbol of a door that has been opened, a symbol of a historic moment that is already right in front of us. And when the official trailer finally dropped on March 5th, 2026, everyone understood why that prop mattered so much. Because the trailer, which trended in over 50 countries within hours, proved that everything the red prop in Jimin's hands promised was real. Something massive was coming. Something that was going to change everything. Jimin says in the trailer, "Let's get back out there." 3 words that sound simple, but carry an emotional weight that is almost impossible to measure for everyone who hears them. Because get back out there is not just about stepping onto a stage again. It is about returning to a world they left behind for a while. About returning to the people who waited for them. About returning to being BTS. Not just 7 men who happen to be in the same group, but 7 souls who each carry a piece of something greater than themselves when they are together. And on March 21st, 2026, at Gwanghwamun Square, a place that holds profound cultural meaning for Korea and for BTS, all of that will come to life in front of the entire world. Not through a small screen on your phone, but through Netflix streaming that moment live to more than 190 countries. For the first time in history, a single artist concert will be witnessed simultaneously by millions of people across the globe, and that artist is BTS, with Jimin on that stage, giving everything he has, the way he always does. There is a concept in the Korean language called nunchi, the ability to read a room, to sense what is not being said, to understand a moment without needing it explained. Jimin has extraordinary nunchi. He knows when to speak, and when to simply let himself be the message. And in that Netflix teaser, he chose the latter. He did not need to say much. He did not need to make a long statement or do something dramatic. Just standing there, holding that red prop, with that small smile that already contained 1,000 words that did not need to be spoken. And that changed everything. Not because the world had never seen an artist make a comeback before. Not because there have never been bigger, more expensive, more spectacular concerts in history. But because that moment, the moment Jimin held the Trailer Tomorrow prop in the Netflix teaser, is proof of something extraordinarily rare in an entertainment industry that moves fast and forgets faster. A real connection. One that grew over time. One that did not fade despite distance and years trying to wear it down. And a connection like that, between Jimin and the people who love him, is something that cannot be faked, cannot be engineered, and cannot be bought with any promotional budget in the world. It grew organically from years of consistency, honesty, and the courage to always show up with your whole heart. That is why when the official concert trailer dropped, it was not only ARMYs who reacted. People who are not fans. People who do not even follow K-pop. People who watched the trailer with zero context. They still felt something. Because there is an energy in that video that transcends genre, transcends language, transcends culture. The energy of 7 human beings who genuinely love what they do and genuinely miss doing it together. So yes, the moment Jimin held that Trailer Tomorrow prop truly did change everything. Not because the prop was magical, not because the teaser was perfect, but because in that brief moment, among all the noise of a world that never stopped spinning, one single frame managed to touch something deep inside of you and remind you that there are things in this world worth waiting for, worth feeling, and worth celebrating. And on March 21st, 2026, Jimin will walk onto the stage at Gwanghwamun Square. He will sing the songs you know by heart, the ones that live in the spaces between your breaths. He will dance with a body that has been through thousands of hours of training. He will look into the camera, and through your Netflix screen, wherever in the world you are, he will look at you. And you will know, without anyone having to say it, that all of that waiting, every heavy night, every bit of longing you held close, every small prayer you sent out into the dark, was absolutely worth it. Because Jimin is back, and he changed everything. Before his concert even began, before a single note was played, before he ever stepped onto a stage, all he had to do was hold a red prop with 2 words on it. Trailer Tomorrow. And the next day, the world was never the same again. Think about what it actually takes to build that kind of impact. Most artists spend millions of dollars on elaborate music video sets, pyrotechnics, and carefully engineered viral moments. And yet here is Jimin, standing in front of a plain black background, wearing a jacket he probably picked up in 5 minutes, holding a piece of red cardboard. And somehow, he creates a moment that no budget in the world could manufacture. That is not luck. That is not timing. That is the result of years of showing up, of being honest, of letting people in even when it was uncomfortable, even when it was scary. Because the truth about Jimin, the truth that anyone who has followed him for more than 5 minutes already knows, is that he has never hidden behind a polished image. He has cried in front of cameras. He has admitted his fears out loud. He has talked about the nights he wanted to disappear and the mornings he forced himself to try again. In an industry that runs on carefully constructed personas and controlled narratives, Jimin chose something more dangerous and more powerful than any of that. He chose to be real. And real is rare. Real is what people are starving for in a world that is increasingly saturated with performance, with filters, with curated perfection that leaves you feeling empty the moment you put your phone down. Jimin gives people something they cannot get anywhere else, the feeling that what they are seeing is actually true, that the smile is genuine, that the tears were real, that the gratitude he expresses toward ARMY is not a script written by a PR team, but something that comes from a place so deep inside of him that he sometimes cannot even find the right words for it. That is what lives inside that moment with the red prop. That is what you are actually reacting to when you watch it and feel your chest tighten without warning. You are not just watching a teaser for a Netflix concert. You are watching proof that something real has survived, that across 2 years of separation, across military service and distance and silence, the connection between Jimin and the people who love him did not shrink. It grew. It deepened. It became something that a short video with a red prop and 2 words could detonate in the hearts of millions of people simultaneously. And now, as March 21st gets closer with every passing day, that feeling is only building. Every new piece of content, every glimpse of the members together, every behind-the-scenes moment that leaks out from the Arirang recording sessions, all of it is adding fuel to something that is already burning bright. By the time Jimin steps onto that stage at Gwanghwamun Square and the Netflix live stream begins, the accumulated weight of 2 years of waiting, of hoping, of holding on, all of it is going to come crashing down in the best possible way. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, you're going to think back to this moment, to a short teaser, to a black backdrop, to a red prop, to a small smile, and eyes that said everything without saying a word. And you're going to realize that this is exactly where it all started, right here, right at this moment, when Jimin held 2 words in his hands and quietly, effortlessly, changed everything. Do not miss it. Subscribe so you do not miss a single update as we get closer to March 21st. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was your reaction the first time you saw Jimin in that teaser? I want to know. And whatever your answer is, just know that somewhere across the world, millions of people felt exactly the same thing at exactly the same time. That is the Jimin effect, and it is unlike anything else in the world.